I've got that shirt.
Yeah, do you?
I've just realised that. Yeah. I could have worn that. Oh, we
Oh,
could have.
mate, I love that.
2 wee bananas in pyjamas cutting about, man. Oh, why do we not do
Yeah,
that?
I think it's more boy in the striped pajamas, mate.
Yeah, not with my weight. So, not with my weight or your hair. Let's be honest. It's not happening. This has got dark at the
This is it, fucking right off the get-go. Oh, yeah, fuck, man. Yeah, I love when people like wear the same clothes. Everyone else finds it so uncomfortable.
So I've done it a couple of times. I bought a t-shirt years ago, and this was when I was like maybe early 20s, and I did a gig and 3 people gave me their number, and I was like, this must be the best t-shirt in the world. I was hosting a stand weekend and people were writing their number for me. You know how you used to do the prize draw?
Yeah.
I was like, this is class. And then the next time I wore that t-shirt, 4 other people in the crowd were wearing it. So like, obviously it just lifted everything or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. No, so have you ever turned up to a gig and wore the same thing as someone?
No, it's been kind of close, like almost identical, just like not exact same, but the same colours, jeans, everything like that. And you just feel like a fanny.
I've had it. See, when I went on tour, like my poster, a couple of times I turn up to a venue wearing the same clothes, and it looks like you only own one shirt.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I've been to Zara. Like, I've got more.
But that's the thing, you get your picture taken and like your favourite thing. You get your picture taken and a thing you look good in, and then so when you constantly wear that thing.
I got my pictures done 3 weeks ago. It was the most, like, you never know how ugly you are until you get your pictures done. So the day in this photo studio, this is 100, I'm not making any of this up. So in the morning, it was Vogue Williams, the model. At lunchtime, it was Greg Wallace from MasterChef. And then it was me. So they said it was like the baldest afternoon they've ever had. But they said for Vogue Williams, they took 3 pictures and they could use all 3. It was like amazing. 672. And they said they might use 7. Like, it was... I remember I had a 4.5 hour train back from London, just been like, God, man,
600
I need
pictures,
to get
man.
to Turkey, man. Some of them, they make you sit per 100 to tell you which ones are good. It's,
Oh, that's a lot.
soul destroying, man.
I did Trudy Stay did my pictures just before Fringe.
Yeah.
And she sent me 450. 20 of them are like good.
What did you do for your hair? Did you do your hair specially?
I don't even know what I did, man. I think I just did that. What? And it just turned up.
How do you pick the clothes for the pictures? What do you do?
I just picked like a shirt I liked, and then a wee comfy jumper, and then a t-shirt.
Comfy jumper.
Comfy jumper, mate. Comfy jumper. Just
like-
kind of like a Converse jumper. That's
Yeah.
just a proper like.
But
good fit.
would you wear that about the house, or would you ever wear it to a gig, or what would you do?
I don't know if I would do it to a gig. I kind of just maybe just a wee going out, maybe go to a cinema type jumper.
I find that mad. You would get your pictures done in a jumper you wouldn't wear to gigging.
Really?
I think that's insane.
Why?
Because it's obviously shite. You're not going to wear it on stage. So why would you just pay money for someone to take pictures of you in it?
That's a very good point, Ray. I had not thought of that. But I don't know what it is. I feel like I always just like literally everything I wear now is just like an overshirt and a t-shirt. We are literally everything we wear now is what I do.
What age are you?
37.
Yeah. Why are you?
Yeah.
Are you older than me?
What age are you?
I'm 34.
Fuck off, are you?
Are you 37?
37, man.
Jeez, man. I've got a line in my show just now. I'm going to do actual material in this, so I apologise.
Do it.
Where I say, I don't know if I'm getting older or the clothes in Marks and Spencer's are getting better. Like, do you know that way?
Yeah.
'Cause 2 years ago, I never would have gone there. But I didn't know you're 37 now.
37,
What have you been
man.
doing with your life?
Fuck, not a lot, man.
What age did you start gigging at then?
30 or 31, I think. Yeah,
Because then COVID affected it, didn't it?
yeah. I think I was 2016, so 7 years. So yeah, 30, bang on 30, just started it. And
What was it? Just like a thing you wanted to do, or what?
It was just one of these ones. I was just like, if I don't do it, I'll regret
Had you
it.
wanted to do it?
Yeah, oh mate, I'd shat it for years and years and
What, like
years.
signed up and shat it, or what?
No, I just sat there. I was just like, I really want to do this. And I used to go to the Fringe and see like 10 shows a day. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And just never did anything about it. And then,
Can you imagine going to see 10 shows a day now?
oh, no fucking way, man.
I just met a booker of theatres outside, and I was like, what you got today? She said she's got 8 shows, and I was like, you're a fucking psychopath.
Never
Like,
again.
This is day whatever the Fringe. I've not seen anything yet. Have you?
3 shows, that's it.
Yeah, I'm going to go see one after this, and that'll be my first one. And I might go see another one. And then tonight, it's the biggest arts festival in the world. I'm going to do my show. So obviously, after my show, I'm going to the pub to watch the second half of the Rangers game.
Of course.
Even though I don't support them. I was just like, one of my mates is like, come to see my show. He's like, should we just go watch football? I was like,
Of
yeah,
course,
why not,
man. Yeah. My
Culture.
enthusiasm for going to shows is like, and I just go and see people I know now as well. I don't really like go and take a chance on like someone, have you heard about the next big thing and everything like that?
I did that last year. I'd never seen him before. I went to see Vittorio's show through Angeloni. It was very good.
Yeah.
I hadn't met him, but then that's always the awkward bit because like on the way out, you're like hoping they know who you are, and you don't want to like, can we be friends? I don't know. So yeah, that's the only time. But even like I was in New Zealand for a festival this year, Australia. I saw Mates.
Yeah, that's it.
And weird comics. I like to go see comics that are really different from me.
All right.
So like when I was in New Zealand this year, I saw a guy called Ray O'Leary who makes me laugh so much. Right now in the Scottish circuit, the two people that I think make me laugh the most are Paul McDaniel and Darren Connell.
Oh yeah. I've never met Darren.
Are you not?
I've never met him, and I think I saw him do a Kevin Bridges warm-up show years back, but I've never gigged with him.
He's one of the people that I always go out and watch.
Yeah.
Just because it's always close to mayhem.
Yeah.
Like every point. And same with Paul. Like I just think Paul's so good, man.
Oh my god, yeah. Paul is just like we had him on the pod like a few weeks back, and I don't think the episode's out actually yet. And he just like as soon as you see the audience get him and they're on board from the get go from that first laugh when he almost saw his friend got run over, you're like, we're gonna have a brilliant time.
But also equally, it's even better when they don't get on board early because you hear comics laughing.
Yeah,
like the best thing you can get in a gig, man, is see. I love when you hear comics struggling, and then they'll say that usually gets a bigger laugh, and all you hear is the comedians laughing because you're like, does it fuck? Like, I've seen that joke die about 9 times. So yeah, I love it. I can't remember who it was. It was in Lancaster Comedy Club. So I used to host that like once a month, and it was a notoriously really tough gig to open. I can't remember who it was. It was a mate of mine, and if I knew the name, I would say.
Yeah.
And they were struggling, and I couldn't stop laughing. And it got to a point about 15 minutes in, they just looked at me and went, "Can you shut the fuck up?" But I was just like, no. Because then I had to go back on. I was like, we used to enjoy that, but I loved it, man. That was so good.
Fuck, man. How did you end up down in Lancaster?
So it was, you could get the train there and back in Glasgow.
No, but how did that like come about?
I did lots of gigs in the Northwest. So I started gigging in Liverpool.
Right,
and then when I came back up, a promoter, I did lots of work down there. So I used to go down to England maybe 3 weekends a month. Like, and then now I don't do it as much because I don't need to. But yeah, I was hustling, man. I used to get the mega bus from Manchester home at 1:10 every Saturday into a Sunday morning, and I did that for about 3 years. And then about 3-4 years later, Christopher MacArthur Boyd was telling me about the 1:10 mega bus, and I was like, mate, don't teach the player how to play this game. Like,
I've been there.
I was doing that when you were still doing the halt bar, mate. Like,
I've seen some sights on that bus.
But it was so class watching him do it because he's now absolutely smashing it. And him and Roscoe, there was a time where if I was turning up to close an open mic night, they were always doing their new 5 minutes. They hustled so hard. And it's paying off, man.
Oh yeah, Roscoe is like fucking
I think
unbelievable.
he's the most underrated comic in Scotland.
100%, man.
Like
100%.
By a mile. By an absolute mile.
I have never seen him do anything but absolutely destroy rooms.
I lived with him and Mark Jennings in Australia this year, and I've never seen two more opposite attitudes to work.
Yeah.
Jennings would go out and write for 2 hours a day, and Roscoe would just fucking finger his ass pretty much every day. And then the only time, so Jennings would go out and write in this wee courtyard we had, and he would write like 2 hours a day, and it was proper because he was doing the King's Theatre, so he was working really hard. And then one day he didn't go out, and we're like, why not? And there was tons of wasps, and he was too scared. So he shouted at me and Roscoe to get rid of the wasps. And his washing was out, and he wouldn't go out and see the wasps and all that stuff. You're like,
fucking hell, man.
You're an adult, mate. What are you doing?
Jesus Christ.
He's smashing it again, man. Like,
it's class to watch, isn't it? It's so good to just see everyone just doing so well.
Does it feel weird, like, as someone who obviously was a comedy fan for years, to see Scottish acts actually getting the recognition they deserve?
It's so good because it doesn't really feel like it's properly happened before.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the switch was, but it feels like it's maybe the last 2 years, 3.
Yeah, because it's weird because Scott Gibson won the award 2016, but then Larry Dean has been nominated like 3 times, and Richard Gadd won it, but he was been in London by then.
Yeah.
But the actual people that are kind of circuit regulars the whole time, it's not really happened.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting when the awards come out. I don't know when this episode's going to come out, but
Probably maybe just the day after, actually.
I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, and I think it's because of Monkey Barrel. I genuinely think Monkey Barrel is kind of like helping putting people on the map.
Yeah, because how many venues have got?
It's Paul, the posters behind you, Damn, it's 7.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's too many, innit?
Yeah, I know, fucking hell.
How you find our venue? Because I did our venue last year.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've become amazed. We're doing the Waverley, and it's on St Mary Street, and it's the warmest room in the world, so windows have to be kept open. It's actually not as warm as 2017. I did my sign language show at the Gilly Balloon, and the venue was and I'm signing the whole time, and I had to stop the show twice because I'd sweat my eyes, and like you can't wipe it away. It was horrible.
Oh my God, man.
But I've become amazing at being able to tell what siren is a police car, an ambulance, or
Yeah,
fire
yeah.
engine because they go by all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas you actually had fucking
Yeah, but that's the thing.
them all come to you.
It's happened on every show since, and I've had to be like, I wish they were there on Wednesday night.
It's actually
Yeah. And that's the thing, is I could look down and I'll see it's an ambulance, but I'll just go, no, fucking where were you guys on Wednesday night? They don't know it's an ambulance. But
when people are coming to a show now, do they know about the gun thing?
no, this is
No one knows.
Right, this is the most frustrating thing about this whole thing, right? So everyone's texting, they've been like, this is gonna blow up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting everyone's messaging, be like, comics. The sympathy is low from the comics. It's everyone's just like
Jealous.
You've got a fucking story, your show started, everything like that. And I was just like, yeah, this is gonna sell out. Starting believing that, and then it went in even the news. It was kind of there,
Yeah.
and Roscoe, Susan, and George Fox have been like out there trying to push it. Roscoe sent the article to loads of journalists to be like,
Nice.
cover this, cover this.
Yeah.
Susan was like asking her agent for advice. Nothing. They did fuck all with it. All these journalists just did nothing with it.
Because, I suppose it's just another story. But then Robin last year had a similar kind of one-off gig. I mean, he didn't cry about it. But
Yeah, that's the thing,
and
mate.
then
I should have cried, or I'd just been. If that had been, had one guy in the room and he'd shot me.
do you find it mad that someone fake cried and got more press than a guy who essentially nearly pistol whipped you?
Yes, it's
That's so funny.
So
actually,
that's now in my set because I did a
Was
compliment.
it?
Yeah. Because I did me and Vlad do a show 60 minutes about Scotland, and it's about 55 people in every single day. It's packed out, and I did it, and I went, hey guys, I don't know if anyone's like heard the news. Did anyone see in the news trying to bring it up? One person knew in a room of 55. And I was like, what the fuck? And I went, oh, did everyone hear about the woman who cried? And went, yeah. I was like, I had a gun put to my head. I had a gun in my head, and I got 4 news articles out of this.
Is that all you got, man?
Got-
And the worst thing is that'll be, if it's Edinburgh Live, if it goes into Glasgow Daily Record, it's the same journalist, so they just sold
Mate,
it
that's
different
thing.
ways.
It was 2 of them, maybe 2 or 3 of them the same. It went STV,
Yeah.
Edinburgh News, and
They're all localised. Oh, mate.
so the Sun put a little, like a wee half-arse story out, and nothing blew up. So then I've now just had to resign my fact about, I need to go and fly it again tonight. I know. Even Susan texted me being like, only you could have something like this happen to you and it not sell out your
you
run.
going to do a show about it?
Yeah, probably, yeah. It's that thing, my opening like 7 minutes of the show is now just talking about
It's
it.
got to be, man. But then also, you'll have to use the telly behind you to prove it.
Yes,
Because otherwise
this is
people
it.
just think you're making it up.
Yeah, I was on the front cover of the Evening News yesterday, and it's like a tiny wee box like that
Yeah,
size.
talk about it. Yeah.
And then on the bigger thing next to that is a juggler stopped traffic. Some guy was like, juggling in the street at traffic lights, and the space on the front page is that. And I was like, oh my God, I've been upstaged by a juggler on the road. So yeah,
I
it's.
can't believe you've peaked so early.
Oh,
about
mate,
that
it was-
story, man. Jeez.
But it's already just kind of I was just like, within a day, I was like, oh, this is shit. But I was like, right, it's in the set.
Why
it's
did you
in the-
cancel your show the next night?
I mean, I could not even process it. I was just
Really?
like sitting in my house, sitting in my girlfriend's flat, sorry.
Nice.
And I was just like, just
Yeah. About fucking time.
thanks, mate. And I was just sitting, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck? It was like I just kept like laughing and being like, what the hell is? Because my phone's blowing up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm not ready to do anything about it yet. Because I couldn't, if I'd gone on stage that night, people would be like, oh my God, talk about it. And I had like nothing to say yet. I couldn't even
Sometimes
be like,
that's the best, though, I always think. Like, because
Yeah.
I don't know how you work. Like, so I'm doing a work in progress, and mine's just like bullet points, and I'll talk it out. And each day, that's how I make it better.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I could never write it out word for word.
oh, I have to do a lot of that. This is probably the thing I've done the last few days. I've done less than that, and I've kind of gone up with the bullet point. Because it's easier just to retell the story, and then things that I'm kind of coming off.
Because that's what I mainly do is tell stories. So, like,
Yeah.
it is good for that. I remember there's a comic who asked me to help gag up their show, and I won't name them. And I was like, yeah, okay. And they sent me a 39-page document, word for word. And I was like, yeah, I'm not reading that. Like, tell me your topics.
yeah.
What do you need? And then I'll give you a quip or something like that. There.
39 pages.
39 pages.
Fuck.
39 pages. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not reading that, man.
Yeah, you pay me double.
No, I wasn't even getting paid. I was just
What?
helping out a friend.
Oh,
I was like,
fucking hell.
I was like, no, I'm not dealing with that, man. I did a dissertation at uni that was less than that, man. Like, probably shit. Also, I've done a lot of podcasts over the years, and I have to say, Ralph, this is the best smelling room.
Do you know what, mate? I was over your shoulder right there.
There's one there.
I've been looking around the room. I was like, this is new. We've never had. What are they? Are they like?
Smells incredible.
Yeah. I tell you what, this is. They've increased the budget on this room. I've never seen them before. This wasn't here.
Mate, there's 7 books balanced against each other. If one goes, they all go, man.
Yeah, this is even my books. This is Liam and CMB's books that they put. Yeah, they put this to just kind of make it look a bit more cultured for the Enjoying album. But yeah, this is. I've never. I was going off over your shoulder, and
was it?
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Rays erupted. What's happened? Oh man, yeah, it smells amazing. Like,
It's
keep
class.
that going, man.
I know. I wish the listeners and the watchers could experience this.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Smells aren't good for audio.
Yeah.
Have you ever did a really smelly guest then?
No, not yet.
No, I've never had that. Like, I do a lot of radio. I've never had a really smelly. It would be a struggle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so, man.
You can't reference it for 2 hours.
You just sitting there and you're like, fuck it. I think you just get used to it though.
Yeah, maybe. Like a climate. Stockholm
Yeah,
syndrome
yeah,
of the smells. Yeah, fair enough, man.
You do quite a lot of that, man. That's pretty cool. Are you just kind of like now on the kind of like the regular contact list for when something happens?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's class, man.
So like, it was weird. So I was a guest on Off the Ball, big huge football fan.
Yeah.
And then someone couldn't do it, and it was just before I turned 30. It was like the weekend before my 30th. And they're like, do you want to come present it? So I'd never presented radio before, ever.
Yeah.
I'd done one demo for Clyde One that was described as Alan Partridge-esque. I can't remember one of my links, but I've got it somewhere. I'll try to send you.
Please,
it. It was cringe.
yeah.
And then so they're like, yeah, just present that. So I presented the biggest radio show in Scotland without presenting anything. And then
How did it go, that first one?
yeah, great. And it's just chatting about football with people, and it was good. And then I've done it. I've probably hosted, I don't know, maybe about 50, 100 times now. And what's so funny is now I'm the one that like runs it. If I cut, say if like Stuart or Tam aren't there,
Yeah.
it'll be me and another presenter. I'll be like, right, we'll do this. And I was like,
So you're probably producing, getting the.
no, we've got producers and stuff like that. But I'll be like giving topics. I'll be like, let's talk about this, let's do this. And then, which is mad because at one point, I asked one of the producers, I was like, can you give me some notes? And they were like, yeah. And they went, why are you asking for notes? And I went, oh, I've never done this before. And they went, oh, you're actually not bad at this then. And I was like, oh, right, that's loaded, man. Like, I thought it was better than that. But no, I love it. But it's probably got me in, like, see, being able to chat about football, it's got me into, like, class situations. Like, I did an M&S advert. Like,
Oh, shit, so you did?
yeah, like.
And that came off the back of that?
Because I got known for football, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, me, Jermaine Genius.
Yeah, because you're in the, is it kind of like a round table type
Yeah,
thing?
we all sat and ate curry for 3 hours.
That's so mental.
And
who else was in the room?
So it
Sorry.
was Jermaine Genius, was England player. Robbie Savage was the Welsh player. James McFadden was the Scottish player, and Stephen Craig was the Northern Irish one. We sat in a house in London and just ate curry for like 3 hours. And then they put me back on the train first class and put James McFadden standard class.
Oh,
And I was like, I've arrived. I have arrived.
Fuck you, James.
It was so surreal. So surreal.
How did that? And did you met any of them before that?
I met Stephen Craig in the Northern Ireland one a couple of times, and
Right.
I kind of knew who James McFadden was. I'd actually met James McFadden once before. Oh no, it wasn't him. It was another footballer I interviewed. And the next day I turned up to, we'd been staying in the same hotel, so we're staying down south. This isn't an M&S thing, but I walked in and I was like, "Hi, I'm Ray. Nice to meet you." He's like, "I know. We met last night." And I'd been that steaming. I'd been waiting for an Uber Eats in the hotel lobby.
Oh, no.
And he came up and suppose I went up and chatted him for ages. And then he was like, "I need to get away from this guy." And I don't remember any of it. And I was like,
Oh my
not good, man.
God.
But yeah, I like doing that kind of stuff. I think with comedy as well. So I've done stand up since I was 19, so it's like 15 years.
Right.
And if you don't do lots of other things like you doing this or whatever, you'll lose your mind.
Oh yeah,
You will
yeah,
actually
yeah.
lose your mind.
Yeah, to just only have that to focus on, it's insane. You don't seem like you have any like kind of nerves about anything like this. You just seem like the most chill guy ever. Yeah, you just kind of like walking into a room with Jermaine Genius and everything like
I
that.
think I've been nervous about 10 times in my whole career.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like,
Was that the very earlies?
yeah, the first time I did Kids Telly, I was very nervous. Because you don't want to say like fuck, like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much. That's all you think.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
First time I presented a live radio show, probably that. A couple of gigs, but even like so I did John Bishop's tour, and I was doing like arenas. Didn't really get nervous.
That's
And
insane.
I think it's all because of my upbringing. So like my mum and dad are both deaf, so I grew up speaking on their behalf.
Yeah.
And on the phone to adults when I was like 8, 9 years old,
Yeah.
or interpreting. So I'm so used to it.
You're fearless, man.
But I remember, like, I once asked Bishop why like he picked me, and he was like, "You don't get nervous, neither do I." So we would be literally. I remember we did Manchester Arena, so there's what 9,000, 8,000, 9,000 people there,
Mad.
And as they're introducing me, he's like, "Do you want to go for a pint after?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." And then walk out, and we went to the Frog and Bucket and had a look in that night. Yeah. Liam Withnail was there.
Yeah.
So I messaged Liam and he came down and we walked into the Frog. And have you done the Frog and Bucket?
Yeah.
So it's got all the pictures of legends, and that's where Bishop had his first gig. He was like, "Where's my picture?"
Have they not even put them up?
They were like, as you go out the back door to the bins, he's the last picture. And he was like, "Oh, for fuck's
shit.
you know what it is?
When you go through the kitchen.
when you go to the kitchen." And he was like, "What?" He's like, "You've got a paragraph in my book about it and all this stuff." So they've put a new one up of him with the staff when we get out that night.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so like, do you get nervous?
I get, no, it's probably not nerves. I'm just like, I fucking really hope I remember everything I've got to say.
Yeah.
So I'm just wanting to try and remember everything. But the actual probably nerves, I could just go like, cool, right, let's start the show, let's go.
Yeah.
No, so I don't really think the proper nerves.
What about
really-
like gigs?
Nah.
'Cause I find it, I've seen, like, there's a couple of TV comics I've gigged with, and I've seen them be sick before a gig, and I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Or pacing non-stop for like 15, 20 minutes. It's
Yeah.
like, that's not normal, I don't think.
No, I think see the people that have got like severe anxiety and they're doing this, and like, how are you surviving? Like,
Yeah.
I do not understand that. That's insane to me.
Because there will be gigs that I dread doing. Like, I do a lot of corporates and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
And during the day, you're like, "Oh, why have I said yes to this? Or
Yeah.
why am I doing a podcast on a Tuesday afternoon?" Like, those kind of ones, you're like,
The fucking brown jewels fucking kill me. Get a guy
I've
with
just
a
got the pun.
Oh, fuck off, mate.
I just saw it there. I genuinely didn't think about that. I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
I genuinely love it. And it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine having a real job?
Well, I say I've still got a day job. I've still have to work the day job and
What's
everything
the
like
day
that. Just working in advertising. So I've just kind of got to do that.
You couldn't fucking sell you getting a gun to your head.
Honestly, God, mate, I am the worst at self promotion ever.
That's the thing I hate.
Anytime I have to post something on Instagram about myself, I'll go, "Oh, this is horrible. I don't like it." I feel so cringe, man.
So I've just finished a tour. I go back on tour in February, and I had a meeting with my agent recently. He described my social media game as, I quote, "fucking shite." Because I never put clips up. I've put one or two.
I think you kind of don't have. You don't have to, though, man.
But New Zealand Comedy Festival put a clip up of me, one clip, and it got 3.3 million views on Instagram. And my agent was like, "What? Why did you not do that?" And I was like, "Because I don't know how to edit." Like, I don't know how to type.
Subtitling it and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, obviously I have a big deaf audience, so I would have to subtitle everything I do.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should. Do you do the clips?
Yeah, I'll go do all the clips, man.
It's
and
the
you
way
can,
it's gone now, isn't it?
it's so frustrating to have to then just sit and do that and just like, yeah.
Is there some clips? Because I've seen other comics do it, because I'll do one every Monday for eternity. And sometimes it's a lot weaker than the other ones, but they have had to do something that week.
No, I am. There's literally can be like 3 weeks where I don't put out a clip,
Right,
and I'll just kind of go. When I finally get around to it, it's like the last thing on the list. I love putting the podcast out and everything like that.
Yeah.
The clips do well. It's helped promote the podcast.
Yeah.
But just that bit, I'm always just like, I can't be fucked.
Can you ask people that listen to this if you got the pun in the name? Because I didn't. I want to see if I'm dumb or not. I'm very
I would like to hope, but this is episode probably like 72. If people haven't got it by now, then stop listening.
I really hope they haven't. I really
That'd be
hope they
so
haven't.
funny if they haven't.
Ever
to be
just like glass smashing. What the fuck? Also, it's a pun though. It's a
I
loose
know,
form, innit?
that's it. It's easy.
I did the pun run once, so you can only do 5 minutes of puns. And I remember I was seeing someone, and I phoned her to run by the puns, and I did one, and it was really awkward on the phone. The second one, there was like, I did a third one. She just went, "Please stop."
There's no bigger turn off than
it was
pun,
like
guys.
a pun about vegetables or something like that. I was like, I did it was cringe.
Were you a pun guy in the beginning?
No.
Right.
So Gilded Balloon ran a festival in 2014 called the Happiness Festival.
Right.
Was it 2050 maybe? I can't remember. And one of the shows they asked me to do was a pun show.
Right.
But you would go up for like 3 nights and you'd do 4 or 5 different gigs. So you would just do whatever. It was, oh mate.
Puns.
Dreadful.
Yeah. There's no bigger turn off on a human being than specialising in puns.
An hour though. But you can see people like Gary Delaney who's incredible at it.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the exception.
But yeah, the rest of the time I'm like, nah, it's not
Fuck,
for me, man.
Yeah.
Not for me.
I was gonna ask you the arenas and everything you've done with Bishop and
Yeah.
that. And then you did the Waverley last year, and you brought John Bishop into the Waverley last year.
Yeah.
That was surreal because I came to that show.
Did you?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there. I was there at the back because Angus gave me a tip off. He's like, "You might want to come on Thursday
Yeah,
night."
because they were like, the venue was like, we'll bring a photographer in for one of your shows. And I was like, wait till Friday? And
Yeah.
they're like, why? And I was like, so I said to Davey, the guy, I was like, this might happen. So yeah, so he was up and I'd opened for him like 70 times, 75 times. So I was like, come do the Waverley.
Open for me.
All illusion. Have you ever got to introduce a really famous person on stage?
No.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Because when it's a surprise, the audience don't know. So like I did Hot Water a few 2-3 weeks ago and Bishop was on.
Yeah.
No one knew. So I went, please welcome. And it goes, mental. I've done it with Frankie before, Bridges. That day, I was like, I've got a special guest. And they're like, yeah, we know. And I was like, how? And they were like, there's no backstage bit. So John Bishop was just standing in the corner of the room waiting to go on.
He was standing next to the mop cupboard.
Yeah. Between the mop cupboard and the women's toilets, he was just there. And I was like, yeah, come on round. And then came, because we both did a show in sign language together on ITV. And he was needing to run through stuff for that. So so he came and did 2 nights at the Waverley. That's the only sport act I've ever had.
That is insane.
So, yeah, it was.
And he was fucking so good.
He's amazing. He's like, we would go that. So I was meant to do 1 gig, and I got booked, and then we got on quite well. And he phoned me. He was like, "Come do 12." So that was all of December, and then that became all of January, or February, and then he was like, "You've not done an arena yet, have you?" And I was like, "Of course I'm not, John. There's like 8 people that have done them."
Yeah.
So he was like, "Come do these," and then they started to go well, and then it was a mad thing. The first one we did was Bournemouth,
right?
And arena screens, and I come off, and I go to Adam, the tour manager. I was like, you need to watch. There's a security light. It keeps lighting up the whole room. And they're like, no, mate, we fucked up. You're wearing a mustard colour shirt. And because you're so pale, if we do a full body shot, you light up the whole room. so he was like, you need to go buy a black or blue shirt now. So I did that for the rest of the run. So little things like that. And I ended up doing them all. And then it was just so much fun. So much fun. But watching Bishop, like when we did the theatres, you got a bit more room to play with. So we did Bradford, and I think it was his great grandfather. When he did Who Do You Think You Are? His great granddad was a minstrel in that theatre.
No.
So he went out and did 20 minutes just off the cuff about it. And it was so good. And I was like, oh, this guy's, because that was maybe day 5 or day 6 of the tour. And I was like, this guy's good, man. Really good. And then the rest of the time he was so sound.
And what is his son got?
His son lost his. So I did Kendall Leisure Centre with him.
Yeah.
That was the first gig we did. There's a genuine, me and him talked about it. It was in the actual leisure centre, and there was a sign saying badminton cancelled due to John Bishop, which is like the lowest form of that. So I met him there, and then he came off stage and he was like, is your mum and dad actually deaf? And I was like, yeah, it's a lot to make up for 25 minutes, mate.
That's a bit of a...
And then he was like, oh, my son's losing his hearing, he's got this degenerative illness. And then we chatted about it, and then the first day of the tour, when I joined in Nottingham, he was like, oh, we might be going to meet ITV tomorrow. And then they commissioned this documentary. So him and Joe's son went and learned sign language. And the next day after that shown, and like the director won like a Rising Star BAFTA and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it was great. But the next day, sign language searches went up in Google like 500%.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So like it was proper, really cool. Because there was a bit where sign language was really sexy. It's like Rose Ayling-Ellis won Strictly.
Yeah.
The film Coda won the best Oscar.
Yeah.
And Bishop doing that documentary on primetime telly, like it was cool. Because when I was growing up, sign language wasn't really that known about. I've grown up learning it, but people didn't really talk about it.
But you've had a lot of cool moments. So there's not like a whole family came to see
I've
like
had so many cool ones. Like I had the first year I did a sign language show was 2017.
Right.
And I honestly...
This was Deaf Comedy Fam?
Yeah, Deaf Comedy Fam, yep. So that was 2017. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to do it. And then I did an interview with Jay Richardson, who does Scotsman reviews, stuff like that. Really good guy. And I told him in the interview, I'm going to do a show in sign language. He was like, okay. And I'd mentioned it to Frankie Boyle before. And Frankie talked about it on Scroobius Pip's podcast.
Right, okay.
So a couple of people had been in touch with me. And I was like, oh, I better do this.
The pressure's on.
And then Jay wrote an article about it. It became like the most read article in Glasgow Live for like weeks. It was like number 1, number 2 constantly.
Yeah.
So people were sharing it. I was like, okay, there's an audience here. And I thought it was going to be dreadful. And I did it, and it went quite well in Glasgow. So I was like, cool, I'll do the Fringe. And mate, it was the nicest Fringe run. So like, I had people crying saying, thank you, because it's the first time I've ever been able to go see a sign language accessible show any day of the Fringe. Because usually there's one sign language show.
Be one BSL day or something.
It was like families were coming. One of the days, a woman in the front row had a hearing dog for the deaf. And it was, it was Gilded Balloons, so it's quite cramped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, put your dog on stage, like, because I am signing, so I don't move about, so let
Yeah.
them go there. 2 minutes in, I go to do a punchline. I do the setup, and as I hit the punchline, the dog did the loudest yawn ever, and I was like, "Get right fucking back in there, mate. You can go sit there if you're not enjoying this." And then so I toured that briefly, and then like 2018, started 2019. That was really cool. And then off the back of doing Bishop's tour, I did a whole new sign language show.
Yeah.
Just finished that, and like there was like when I did Bradford, there was two deaf grandparents and they're hearing kids and they're hearing grandkids. It was the first time they'd ever been to the theatre together.
Oh,
so it was all those
man.
kind of moments. It was so much fun. And like Norwich, we had like 60 deaf people in the audience. Belfast, we had a really huge thing. Belfast, there was a huge waiting list.
Yeah.
It was just
That's brilliant, man.
It was so much fun. And so I'm doing a new show next year, and I'm not going to sign it. I'm going to use a sign language interpreter every day, just because
that's added to a lot of pressure to you.
Yeah, man, it's so restrictive. So like, I can't change the material because I have to. Some shows I become my own interpreter behind me. Or like I record audio, and you can't go about. And I like being able to chat to audiences. That's what I love about the room we were doing during the Fringe.
Yeah.
You can just chat, have a laugh.
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
it.
mate, this is weird, right? I've had 5 people on first dates come to my show, and one of them's been the same guy twice with 2 different women.
No.
And he's worn the same jumper both times.
Fuck.
And he kind of looked at me as if to say, "Don't say anything." I was like, "Mate, I don't want to be part of your web of lies." Like, it's going to be like 2 months later, we're going to find out he's married. But yeah, I've had.
Did you mention
No, I didn't.
that?
No, because I was like, I'm not getting into that. But like, yeah, a couple of times I'll be like, because I do a thing where, how long have you been with your girlfriend? A while.
2 years almost.
Have you had a Christmas day together?
Yes.
Right. So I'm always interested because me and Haley, we spent our first Christmas day together after 9 years.
Right.
Even though our families live really close, we're like, nah, my family's better at Christmas dinner, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I always ask couples, and weird, I keep picking first dates. I go, I use a couple, and then it's awkward.
Oh, I love that.
then-
That's one of my favourite things to find in an audience is a first date, mate. It's gold.
It's so tense. Like, I like it, but you also kind of don't want to ruin it for both of them. So you kind of
Yeah.
play around it, and I get away with, I think, cheekiness.
Yeah, you
Like, I
do,
think
man.
you would as well. But there's certain people we know that, like Roscoe couldn't.
Oh God, no.
they would
He
think
would, he would pile drive that into the ground. I had a couple who had met, hosted Monkey Bar a few weeks back. They had met the day before, clearly met in the park, had some kind of like mad sex night, hookup, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Came to the show the next day night and sat in the front row. And I was just like,
It's a gift, man.
and then I was just like, it's like, do you even know each other's surnames? And they both just looked and they went, no. And at the end of the show,
Surnames is such a good question, isn't it?
yeah, I was just like, because it's such a thing, you know, when you're kind of, what's your surname? And, like that. And then I asked at the end of the show, I was like, do you even find that out? They were like, no. And I was just like, I was like, that's how fucking raw that was. And I was like, this is beautiful.
One of the biggest gifts of my front row I had. There was a couple. I was hosting Glasgow Stand. There's a couple. It was generally the first people I spoke to. Walking out, they go, "You're a couple? Yeah. Where you from?" And they're like Dundee. I was like, "Oh, we dirty weekend away." And they're like, "Yeah." Until he fucked up. And I was like, "What do you mean?" So they're in Glasgow, and he'd never been to Glasgow before, so he booked a hotel in Port Glasgow, which is a 45-minute car journey. And he was like, "Yeah, it was a cheap hotel, man, but our taxi here was £57." And like, you could just hear the whole audience laughing. I was like, "It's gonna be a good show. Let's get your first act on. We don't need to do anything else, man."
Yeah.
Just an absolute gift.
Yeah, when that happens, you're just like, oh, this is going to be so much fun.
Love it. I actually love it. You do a lot of comparing now, so I don't really compare as much anymore.
So I host the Tuesday night gig at Spandex at the Beehive, and that's been going 2 years now.
Yeah.
And that's been like every Tuesday of the last 2 years.
It makes you so much better, doesn't it?
Oh mate, it's why I'm just a lot more free. I just go up on stage and you go, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Whereas before, if someone had said something, I would have gone,
See, that might be enough. I compared maybe like my 5th or 6th gig, and then compared a lot from then, and that's how I ended up going down. You were saying, how did you end up in Lancaster?
Yeah.
I ended up going down a lot because I was quite good at that. But then I remember Dan Nightingale was like, "Don't get pigeonholed in it."
Yeah,
so you kind
yeah.
of have to take a step back. And
Vittorio was saying his first load of gig, that's how he started, just comparing.
Yeah.
That's it. And so it must have, when you look at that, you think it does just relax you so much on stage.
yeah.
To then just kind of go up with no plan.
and just have a laugh.
Yeah.
Like I did one recently for the village. Well, not the village. Like it was in the village hall. So I live in Glasgow, but there's like the wee area we live in.
Yeah.
There's like a village hall. So I put a gig on because like my son's nursery needed a new garden and
Right.
all these kind of things. And that was weird because I was just chatting to my neighbours.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you ever fill up your green bin? Like, does it ever spare? Like, just pure shittest chat possible.
Yeah.
But it was fun that, and then end up in my, I don't even know what age Mick is, probably 60-something-year-old neighbours till 4 in the morning, just getting hammered. Like, it was
brilliant.
great, man.
That would never have happened before then.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun. But yeah, it was weird gigging to mainly people I knew.
Yeah, I hate that.
I don't mind it because
I hate it because my friends came on Saturday night and they all turn up hammered.
Saturdays are the worst at the Fringe, man. People don't realise this. I had a lovely Saturday night there, but a lot of the time my audiences on a Saturday are steamers from Glasgow.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll be on it. But also, you're late.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
10
you
o'clock.
10.
10
Yeah,
o'clock.
too late,
So
man.
we're like David, the guy who runs the Waverley, is my mate, and he literally at the back was doing crowd control to everyone else to be like, shut up, shut up.
The whole gig.
He was not, he didn't even, I don't even think he saw the show. He was just constantly just being like, right, shut up, shut up, shut up. And I saw him, he's not even hearing any of this. So, and yeah, so they turn up once a year. I've just got to do a show with my friends, and they're fucked. And I look at, you know how you see, do you ever look at the names?
No.
I look at the names and I'm right, who's in tonight? And I go, oh, for fuck's sake.
No, because I like the surprise.
Really?
Like last night, I went, any English people in? A guy cheered, and I was like, oh, John. Like, it's the guy who gave me my second ever gig.
No
And,
way.
so I did a new act night in Liverpool called Rawhide Raw. This is 2008. And I was like, oh, comedy's fine. Never do it. And then he drove by me in the street a couple of days later and he was like, I was at that gig. You're really good. You should keep doing comedy. I was like, how do you do it? And he was like, I'll give you my card. And his business card, he worked for John West Salmon. So I was like, oh, comedy's sexy. Like, let's do that. And then I text the John West Salmon man, and then he started giving me some gigs, and then that's how it
That's
went.
it, man.
Yeah, man. Like,
John West.
Because he was there last night, and I was just like, oh, mate, you actually really helped me do stand-up in a weird way.
And he's there now. That's
And
pretty
he's
cool,
never
man.
he's not done stand-up for 12 years.
Fuck.
He just chucked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's very successful in his job.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
John
Big
West
tuna's
Salmon.
a big industry, mate. All right, it's depleting, to be fair.
No, during lockdown, this I've never talked about this on stage. I might. So my wee boy would have been about 6 months for the first lockdown, and then over the course of that, so Asda was like a day out, or Morrison's, or whatever.
yeah.
We went to Morrison's in Shawlands, and we're at the fish counter, and we're buying. I can't remember. It was like Hake or something, something to make a kid's recipe. And the guy went, "How old's your wee man?" And I was like, "About a year old." And he went, "What you doing with your day?" Nothing. And we can't do anything. He went, "You ever seen a whole salmon?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." He went, "Okay." And he went into the back and brought out this big salmon. And then me and my wee boy just looked at it. He went, "There you go." And then just walked away again. I was like, "What has just happened?"
He must have been so
It
bored.
was such a big salmon, though.
No one's been to the fish counter in 8 hours.
But honestly, it was just that. I was like, "Nah, it's all right. Yeah, let's do it, man." In the same way, during I had so Hayley, my wife, went to learn sign language, and the first day she came back and she could only remember 4 signs, and they were parsnips, cherry, poison, and arsehole. That was the 4 signs she could remember. And I told my dad that. And my dad's 71, been deaf all his life, was a farmer, and he came up to me, he's like, when Hayley went away, he was like, "What's a parsnip?" And I was like, "What?" He went, "What's a parsnip?" And I was like, "How do you not know what a parsnip is? Like, we've had them in the house.
Yeah.
How do you not know where they are?" So I googled a picture and I showed him. He went, "Oh!" And I was like, "What'd you call them?" And he was like, "I don't want to say." And I was like, "What is it?" And he went, "Scared carrots." I was like, "That's not true, is it?" He was like, "Yeah, 100%. So that's
Yeah, is that what they still called in your family?
mate, no, none of us have ever called it that. That's my gene pool, man.
Fucking scared carrot soup, man. I cannot be it.
Because I talk about my family a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say
Honestly.
but it's such a big part of your life.
Yeah,
and
it's a
just
big part of my identity as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And then this time I'm trying not to do as much. So I'm talking about kind of, but that's a problem, man, because I don't want to be. I've got another show coming up, so I'm doing a show where I'm going to try find people that look like me. So it's called Doppelginger, and that's the plan. So I've got lots of stuff in the pipeline for that. But
you to be fair, you do have a lot of lookalikes.
yeah, so many.
There's a lot of them. I always see them.
There's 3 in last night.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Do you get your picture taken when I'm
The guy came up and asked for it, and I was like,
Brilliant.
"Yeah, let's see where it is." We don't look that alike, but it's just 3 bald gingers.
You look fucking nothing like them. Wow.
Like there was a fatter one, a skinnier one,
Yeah,
and,
that's insulting to be like that.
and then a German one. Like, so it was nice. Continental version of us. But no, they came up and were like, "Can we get a picture together?"
And you're like,
then-
here we go again.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I've got tons of lookalikes. Any bald ginger person,
And they just love it.
any bald ginger person, like Liam Boyce that plays for Hearts.
Yeah.
I walked in to do a gig in Tynecastle Stadium and I was like, "Fuck, they put a picture." Oh no, it's Liam Boyce. Like, I thought they just put my side on the
early doors.
stadium. Yeah,
Very
I was like-
presumptuous.
I was like, they love me, man. That's weird. Do you get lookalikes?
Nah, I just get the some guy called Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I don't really know. The Pippin or Merry, one of the hobbits from Lord of the Rings.
I can see that.
It's
I
but the
can
guy,
see
it's
that.
his name. What's his name? Billy Boyd,
Yeah,
Scottish guy.
yeah.
So I get that one, and then there's one other one. But yeah, it's mainly the fucking Hobbit. That's what I get.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
Which is
How tall are you?
5'7". Yeah, it's not good, is it? It's not good.
They lend it to each other, don't they?
Yeah, like maybe 3 inches away from probably being medically classified as a hobbit.
When do you think small men are going to be sexy? Like, 'cause you know, you go through phases of different kind of styles. Do you think in your lifetime small men have been sexy yet?
I don't think so, man.
Think your time's coming?
Nah. It's just, that saying, small men just get ripped all the time. Do you know what? Weirdly, I once saw Ronnie Corbett in the street with his extremely tall wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks so stupid.
Not even an ally.
No, honestly,
Fuck this
just
guy, man.
turning on them left, right, and centre. And I just saw him. I was like, look, that is ridiculous.
She's really tall, yeah.
So tall, man.
Is he dead small as well then? Yeah.
I mean, I think he's fucking very dead and very small, is he not?
Small people can be tall too. No, dead people can be, not small people.
Small could be tall too.
Having
Yeah.
a drink, yeah, man, that's bad.
Yeah.
I think because they've got to have their time at some point. I don't know, like an accessory.
You're probably gonna have to have a really famous. I don't know, like that Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, is he small?
I don't know. I think I maybe assume so, but just from films, you kind of need maybe a couple of famous people to be really small and pretty hot.
Carpool.
Couple. You even just need a fucking Nissan Micra of small fucks.
I'd watch it.
Yeah,
I'd watch it, man.
yeah.
See what happens.
So what is your show going to be about? This one coming up? If you're not talking about
Yes,
family, then?
I'm going to try find the person who looks most.
Oh,
like me.
that's the big-
actual show. That's the actual thing. Yeah. So I've got some stuff lined up. Going to some countries to go try find bald ginger people. That's
You're
the
going
plan.
to travel for
Yeah,
this?
that's the plan. Yeah. So because I think
Is this like this sounds like an ITV documentary in itself, man?
no, because I did a show 8 years ago. My first Fringe show. You could dare me to do whatever you wanted. So I went to like Bollywood. I did the bull runs in Spain. I went on a date with Scotland's oldest woman. I did all these things. I like doing that stuff, and also I tell stories, right?
Yeah,
So
I love it, man.
You need to be able to get experiences to tell stories, and I'm in the danger right now of being another. So I'm 35 next month. Being a 35-year-old dad of one that talks about family and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
there's people that are well better at me than that. So when I did sign language shows, I was different.
Yeah.
When I did the Dare show, I was different. So just about that. And also when I do a show about lookalikes, it's a very visual show. I'll have a
Yes.
sign language interpreter there, so it's really good for the deaf audience that I've built up as well.
Yeah.
And because that's important to me because I want deaf people to be able to come and see stand up. Like,
Yeah.
because they obviously want to. Like I've sold, like that tour I did, I sold amazing. And it's because people were getting a chance to go to the theatre that never really would. So
Yeah.
I kind of want that as well. But so it starts in February, so I've got 6 months
Class.
to kind of go out and do it. So yeah, big launch.
So that's what the work in progress is right now.
Yeah, so there's bits and pieces about that. Yeah.
Right, cool.
And then I'm going to try use the telly. Have you used the telly yet?
No, not
Gonna
yet.
try use
I
the
saw it in the
telly,
group
show
chat the other
pictures.
day, and I was
Yeah.
just like, "Fuck yeah, that's a good idea."
Yeah,
actually,
just try to do it. Because when I did the Sing Live show, I had the last tour, DEFCON 1, which I didn't even come up with the name. I came up with Def Comedy Fan, but my tour manager came up with DEFCON 1. Because I'm so bad with names, man.
Well, fucking yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You're talking to the right man here.
I didn't even get that one with shows.
That's how bad it is. Right?
So last year my Fringe. Last year I wasn't going to do the Fringe, and that's how we ended up at Waverley.
Yeah.
Last minute kind of thing. I love it though. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
it.
man.
I think it's what Fringe should be. Room Baba Pub.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
When I was doing other shows here, it was like 12, 14 quid. This year, all my tickets are £5, and then there's a bucket.
Are you
and-
donating to a food bank?
Yes,
as
I'm
well?
doing food bank shops. Yeah. So
Fucking
that's
hell,
planned.
that's
Yeah.
class.
So like we did a £360 shop last week, and do you know what's really interesting is I hate self promotion, but Haley, my wife, was like, you should tell people you're doing this and prove it. So I did that, and see since then people are obviously aware because I put it on all social media.
Yeah.
The bucket's gone up hugely.
Oh,
so I had
perfect.
360 quid last week. I think I'll have 600 quid this week, and that kind of stuff. So
Brilliant, man.
And yeah, so that's the plan. But anyway, Yeah, I think that's what it should be about. And then last year, so I had like 40 minutes for the deadline to come up with a show title. So I just called it Bald Ginger.
Bald Ginger.
And my agent was like, have you just called it Two Things You Are? And I was like, yeah. And then I've still got the WhatsApp. He just said, what's next year's show? Fat Dickhead. And I was like, oh, thanks for the pep talk, Andy, man. And then in Australia, that became Bald Dranger. I did a show called The Ray Bradshaw.
That's good.
Roscoe came up with that. Or Ray Dadshaw was another one
Ray
he came up with. Yeah. I hate coming
Puns,
up.
mate. That's it's your puns right there.
I find that the hardest thing to do is come up with show titles, man.
Getting pictures taken, self promotion, and show titles.
I don't mind the pictures because other people are in charge of that and they can design a poster and like I've had some really cool posters over the year, man. When I did the Dare show, I did the do you know the Globe of Death in the circus?
Yeah.
You stand there and all the motorbikes go. So it was that picture of me in the middle, and it was like Pierce O'Halloran, who was a brilliant Irish comic who moved up north. Designed it, and I remember people just come up to me like, "That's cool."
Yeah,
and it stands out, man. And I
cool
think,
poster.
what's your show called this year?
Ralph O'Mail.
I did actually see that in the toilet. That was good. Also, because I don't have any posters, but you've got posters in our room, so I do see that every day actually.
And do you know what I think the worst thing about the venue is that when you go into the toilet, you just hear Billy Connolly smashing the fuck out of gigs.
Do you know, I don't remember that from last year. Was that a thing last year?
I don't know. I don't think it was.
Because I walked in and I was like, my audience sound fucking amazing tonight.
No way.
It was Billy Connolly at the pure New York Hall or whatever. And I was like, oh. It was only when I heard a huge applause that it was like they were like chatting and cheering. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be sick, man.
I was like, David, can we turn that off, please, mate? Like, imagine having a bad gig and then going into the toilet and listen, the best to ever do it.
Here's how it's done.
Destroy it. Yeah, I wouldn't even go in the toilet if I died on my arse in that place.
Have you died in your arse in that place yet?
No, not yet.
No,
I mean, Wednesday was a close one.
Yeah, you got the
died on my
sympathy,
feet.
so it's okay. That would have been, I still can't believe that happened because I came in the next day and I didn't know what happened. I said this to you, I plugged your show because I always think you should. That's the way it should be. And like, it was Aussie comic Mickey D.
Yeah.
So Mickey, one year I remember people came to see me in like 2015 said Mickey had plugged me, and I'd only met him a few times. I was like, that's
cool.
a good guy, man. That's a good guy. So can I do it? And I try to plug a different couple of shows every day and get people.
I appreciate that, man.
I mean, people don't come.
No, they don't, because no one wants to come to a room where there was a hostage situation, right? That's one of the other things. I was like, why isn't it selling out? And he's like, yeah, people are scared to go.
The gun, man. You're the gun guy.
I'm the gun guy. But you know what? I'm quite glad it didn't properly take off, because then I'm the gun guy. I'm like, I don't really want that. I'd rather just be known as, oh, he's a funny comedian.
Yeah, the crossbow guy. It'd be funny if it was a publicity stuff that didn't happen, so you just get bigger every time.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ralph's show?
Cannonball.
Yeah, guy with a bayonet. I don't even know where he got it. And every year it just, mate, do you remember that suicide bomber? It's gone mental.
Yeah.
That should be your USP every year.
Just every year someone brings an offensive weapon.
You know how
to the
that
show.
girl cried last year and it didn't work, so tried again this year?
Yeah.
You should do something bigger.
Next year.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to shoot someone in the audience next year, man. That's my thing next year. It's so wild, man. And so Stuart, who's on the show in between us, he didn't even hear about it by the Friday night. And I said, he went, how's it been going? I went, not great, Stuart.
Yeah. Sure.
Not
You ever use Google? Like, stick my name in. Let's see.
Yeah.
Is that the top Google hit for you now?
Yeah. That's the only Google hit for me.
It'll be that in a review from like 2012 or something.
Yeah, so you type in Ralph Brown Fringe and it's just loads of like old headshots of me just like...
Someone came up to me. Where was I? I must have been on tour or something like that. And they went, is your wife fit? And I was like, yeah, she's much better looking at me. And they're like, I could tell. And they showed me their phone. I don't know if it's still like this. When you type in Ray Bradshaw, like wife is like the third suggested word. So like people have been searching it. And I'm like, yeah. It was like Ray Bradshaw comedian, Ray Bradshaw tour, Ray Bradshaw wife. And I was like, yeah.
Mate, that's when you know you've made it.
I just remember laughing. I was like, I told Taylor, she was like, why do I care? But I was like, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's cool for you.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, mad.
Oh, that's class. Yeah, it's been an eventful month.
Let's see if I Google you, what comes up, because I don't think I'll have Googled you. So let's see. Oh, I don't know if you get reception in here actually.
Nah, I think you don't.
Nah, sessionless pit. Yeah, let's see what your suggestions are.
No, it just comes up Ralph Brown, then it just jumps right to Ralph Lauren Fashion Company. So not great.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I needed to have been shot on stage. Even though I think I should have been shot dead on stage, and I still wouldn't have made it to like national news.
Imagine you became our John Lennon.
I know.
Like,
I'm a John Lennon.
Imagine taking over your gig every night. A different comedian comes in and sings "Imagine" and leaves. Man. I'd be bleak. I'd pay money to see Paul McDaniel sing "Imagine."
Oh my god, I would pay so much money for
Imagine
that.
there's and then just puts the mic stand back in and brings it back out. Who do you think would be the best Scottish comedy singer to sing at your funeral?
Ooh.
Roscoe's got a good set of pipes on him, man.
Yeah, I'd love to see Gary Little do it just purely for the. That would just be the best.
Oh, that is the perfect one.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Just imagine him just getting up there dressed all
Would it
smart.
be your request of a song or would he choose it?
I think I'm not going to tell Gary what to do. I'll be honest with you, mate. I'll let Gary pick the song.
I lived with him for 3 weeks in Australia
Yeah.
before. Just an amazing man.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I can't imagine him singing at a funeral.
Well,
Have you had him on here?
No, not yet.
Get him on, man.
Yeah, I need to.
Just ask him what he'd sing at your funeral.
Yeah, well, do you know what this is? We're just kind of wrap it up because I know you're trying to get away early. But the thing is, the last part of the show is I get guests to suggest a podcast guest that I've got to try and get on.
Oh, sweet.
So there we go, Gary Little.
I'd go Gary Little or former UN ambassador Kofi Annan, who I think is dead.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Kofi.
I used to have a football podcast and we used to constantly talk about how Kofi Annan was actually an Athletic fan, and it went on for so long. And then people were like, he died ages ago. We're like, what? We've been trying to get a sponsorship deal and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so Gary Little or Kofi Annan or David Snedden.
David Snedden.
Do you remember David Snedden?
Yeah, like who did he play for?
No, he won Fame Academy.
Oh fuck.
Live the Lie.
Was he the Livingston guy?
No, that's Leon Jackson.
Right. Okay.
I've got Chesney Hawk's number if you want Chesney Hawk's.
How the hell have you got Chesney Hawk's number?
Like, I've met him a few times, so I've just become weirdly pals with them.
Right. The life you live, mate.
It's so weird.
You just seem so just chill, just gliding through all these mad
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
I think, Chesney Hawk's is probably the most obscure person's phone number I've got. It'd be a good one to get, man.
I'll put the
I went
feelers
to see
out.
him. I went to see him do a gig, and he opened and closed with the one and only.
Of course.
he did. He did an acoustic cover to open up.
Yeah.
He was like, he finished it. He went, "Get that fucker out the way." It was amazing.
I mean, everyone just wants that. When you go and see something, you just want to go like
But
play
when
that.
he did acoustic, I didn't recognise it at the start, and then he came in, and I was like, "Yeah,
Brilliant.
good guy, man." Yeah, I went for lunch with him on his 25th wedding anniversary.
Right, what the
Fucking
fuck,
weird,
man?
weird. Yeah, Chesney Hawk's good guy, big West Ham fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it surprised me.
I would not have pigeoned him.
No, I thought he was American, but he's English.
Yeah, the Chesney. That's it.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what he looks like, but I just know the song.
Yeah.
And that's a very American.
See, if you did
name.
get shot, I would have got Chesney to sing the one and only at your funeral. I think I probably could have done that as
Yeah,
well.
do you know what, mate? If it's the run's still
When?
not over.
When?
Yeah, the run is still not over yet. If it happens, I want Gary Little on one side and Chesney on the other.
The harmonies. Oh, yes, please. Let's get it done.
Yeah, and the final part, mate, it's just again, I guess to recommend anything like films, TVs, albums they've been listening to that they love and they want more people to hear about.
What did I enjoy? I'm trying to think. There's a film called The Mighty Ducks. That's pretty good.
You know, it's like Stephen Buchanan recommended the film Speed.
Richie Rich. That used to be my.
Wow,
idea of
mate,
heaven,
what a film.
What have I watched recently that I enjoyed? It's all the kind of stuff that everyone else watches. Oh, Sneaky Pete's. You ever seen Sneaky Pete's?
No,
During lockdown, Googled Amazon. Rotten Tomatoes. Highly recommended. Phoebe's brother and friends. I can't remember the
Frank
guy's name.
Ribisi?
Yeah, he plays a con artist who comes out of jail and takes his cellmate's identity and goes to live with his family. It's very good.
Sneaky
but
Pete's.
That or Sister. That's you could hear the panic in my voice.
Yeah, I thought you were
going
going to say Sister Act, and I was like,
there's a good thing on at 6:00 every night called The News. Like, big fan of that, so maybe check that out.
have you listened to the Beatles before?
Mate, see, I need to go see a show in a minute, but if you ever go to your mate's house, see when they go to the toilet, series link The News, and it crams up their itinerary so quickly.
That's the
So
best
quickly.
recommendation we've had.
Just do that.
That's top.
And then it'll just make people really annoyed.
Love that.
So do that.
Ray, thank you very much for coming on. This has been brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you for teaching me the name of your podcast.
Cheers, man. Bye.